Employee housing of the DuPont de Nemours Company began to be constructed along Plum Creek in Douglas County in 1906 and was to become a secluded, company-operated town known as Louviers. Eleuthère Irénée DuPont and his family arrived in America from their ancestral home of Nemours, France in 1800, leaving behind limited opportunity and the aftermath of the French Revolution. Irénée's brother, Victor Marie DuPont, decided to establish a woolen cloth factory using the family-owned sheep at a place near Wilmington, Delaware on Brandywine Creek. The site was named after the center of the French wool industry, Louviers. Shortly after arriving in this country, Irénée DuPont de Nemours reportedly bought some gunpowder for a day's hunting. He was shocked and disappointed by its quality. The only good black powder available was from France, and he was reminded of his apprenticeship as a young man at a government gunpowder plant. Seeing a need and having the knowledge to fill it, he immediately began raising financing and began construction of his mills on Brandywine Creek. In the spring of 1804, the first DuPont powder went on sale. The Louviers business was known as Eleutherian Mills. Worker housing and the DuPont family home were built nearby. Gunpowder production quickly multiplied, and soon the DuPont de Nemours Company added additional mills. By 1811, they were the largest on this continent. Government orders continued to increase production with the War of 1812. Irénée DuPont assumed simply that the privilege of being an employer brought with it an obligation to his employees. In March of 1812, an explosion destroyed much of the plant and killed 40 men. Neither the laws nor the customs of those days committed the company to take notice of the plight of the widows and orphans. But DuPont pensioned the widows and gave them houses to live in and undertook the education and medical care of the orphans. Throughout the 1800s, DuPont's gunpowder and blasting powder helped forge the American continent. The company also supplied the explosives used in munitions by the military in the Mexican War, Civil War, and the Spanish-American War. The invention of dynamite in 1866 offered potential for a new product, and DuPont's first dynamite plant opened in 1880. By the early 1900s, the DuPont de Nemours Company saw a need to expand its dynamite production west of the Mississippi. Colorado's gold and silver mines, along with immediate railroad facilities, brought the DuPont people to a Rio Grande Western Railroad stop named Toluca in Douglas County. In 1906, 1,000 acres were purchased and construction began for a plant and village. In 1907, Toluca was renamed Louviers. Dynamite production began in 1908 at the self-sufficient Louviers Works. There were 5 distinct isolated areas of the plant: the power area to generate electricity, the stores area for workshop and storage of materials, the crucial acid area where nitroglycerin was manufactured, the powder area, and the magazine area where wooden boxes containing dynamite were taken to await shipment on the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad. The Louviers Works operated 3 continuous shifts per day and became one of the area's largest employers, drawing men from Littleton, Castle Rock, and elsewhere. DuPont's employees were well paid, enjoyed great benefits and working conditions, and had job security. Once hired, many of the workers didn't leave until they retired, and often more than one family member worked there. Louviers Village was a community in itself, being maintained by the DuPont Company. When the first houses were built in 1906, the village was laid out in the shape of a triangle facing onto a center park. The area was called the Triangle, but was known more commonly as the Flats. Next, the engineers laid out a larger town site based on a grid pattern known as the Quadrangle. And finally, 3 houses built for upper management of the plant and 1 for the company and town doctor were built on Capitol Hill. Common green areas, company gardens, flower beds, and trees were planted. A community church was built, and in 1917, the Louviers Village Club, which became the community's commercial and social center. It was used as a meeting place for a variety of organizations and housed a barber shop, mercantile store, post office, billiards room, dance hall, movie theater, and two-lane bowling alley. A new school district was formed, and a schoolhouse erected. Inherent in the philosophy of the DuPont de Nemours Company, management of the village was designed to create a positive sense of community. This benefited the company as well as the employees. Workers were charged nominal rent for housing, which was deducted from their paycheck. Coal for furnaces could be ordered at cost from the plant with a 50-cent delivery fee. Electricity for the town was generated by the plant's powerhouse and provided free of charge. $1 per month was deducted from each employee's paycheck to pay for the town doctor. The balance of the doctor's salary paid by DuPont. For 7 decades, Luviers Works played a role in developing the region by producing dynamite for mining, oil exploration, and to build roads, dams, and tunnels. Luviers dynamite was used to blast open the Moffett and Eisenhower tunnels and Climax and Henderson mines, among many others. Luviers' days as a company town ended in the early 1960s when DuPont sold off all of the village's houses. Residents and employees had the first opportunity to purchase them. On vacant lots which were sold, newer houses were built, creating a new blend for the former company town. Dynamite production stopped in 1971, and production of other explosives continued into the 80s. Yet many DuPont families still remain.